But what I want to know is that maybe you think it's better not to say a bracha at all, then if you're not going to do it right?
No.
You know,
We can't say, I can't say that.
Are you talking about the bracha before the food or after the food? Which one are you
Right now, I'm just talking about before.
I think it's worse to daven without kavana than to not daven at all.
Okay, but you...
Do you mind if I voice that opinion?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's logical, but I can't say that. And you can say it. Because there's something very important behind it.
Because you might get used to it. And it's always going to be automatically.
Why can't I say it?
Because for him it's like costuming, and for me it's just
Rabbi, what you're saying is that we create our own reality. That's basically what you're saying. We're creating. We have the free choice to create our own reality. And if we want to do, we do. We don't. If we want to create, we do. If we don't create, we don't. And we live an enriched life.
I can imagine somebody going into a depression and davening fast. I can't daven to you today. I can't. That's just it. I can't. Okay, I'll daven. Fine. But I don't want to daven like that. At least don't want to. At least want to be better. At least keep in mind that there's an ideal that I want to reach for. That there's a standard that I want to make normal in my life. But don't make that normal to say words that become meaningless, right? Okay, so, but I'm not saying that person shouldn't say what he's saying, because I want that person should come up. Listen, there's a Baal Tshuva who's not doing anything, and there's a religious person who's doing something, but he's doing something at a low level. Each one has to be, right, we're all hurt, we're all wounded in one way or another. We all need to be helped. So this person needs to be helped in a certain way. But all I'm asking for and saying in a positive sense is I want consciousness, I want what's called in Hebrew das. Give us das, Hashem. Fill us with more awareness of what you're really about, and that we shouldn't live in the dark. And it should be less compulsive and able to really know that when we do something, we're doing something. And you need a sense of importance, that what I'm doing is important, what I'm saying is important. Not ego importance, but that God actually considers that what I think, say, and do has importance. So some of us are so incapable at this point, so hurt, that we can't even believe that. So we're praying because we want to be Yosei, but we're really not praying because we don't believe that praying has been. If you're really deep inside, really check yourself out. Did I really believe when I was saying those words that there was somebody listening to me? It's an inner work. I'm not saying it's easy.
Why is it that people believe that when they make challah, they do the bracha of Lahafish challah? Why it has so much power of giving you bracha for parnasa and the zivuk and all of
Yeah, that's a big thing nowadays.
Yeah, and people keep saying it's such a big. They say you should do it.
What's that?
To
make challah, to have people in mind, to have names, actual names of specific people in mind when you're making challah on Friday, and that's a skula for shidduch and for a lot of different
parnasa. Does it have to be Friday? It could be any time.
No, okay, whatever.
Okay.
I want to ask a question.
Not that it's edible, but I mean.
There's something that can come along and say, look, we follow the rational thought, we follow the rational approach to Judaism. All this stuff is mystical, it's very a lot of fluff, and we don't really follow this stuff. We're rationalists, we follow Rambam, and this is just one way of thinking. It's not really the way we don't have to do it. I'm saying we have this clash, right? There's always a clash. That there's a mystical approach.
If that person wants to think that God is a rational God, and he wants to reduce God to a rational God, I have news for him. God is not rational. God is a super rational concept, and therefore don't try and reduce God to what I think he is, and put him in a cubbyhole that I think is comfortable for me. God is a rational being, that he follows rules that come on. So the Talmud also presents rational arguments, but deep down, Rabbi Yochanan and Avaya and Rava and Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yishmael, all of them, they're incredible masters. Behind all the physical things that they're talking about, the concrete situations, they're talking about much deeper things. He who wishes to think that that's all they're talking about is what's going on out here is missing that these masters were interested in much, much more than physical things. Except that what they did is they couched their spiritual knowledge in physical things, because that's the way of the wise. They don't like go around advertising that they're spiritual, you know. We may not get to the end of this text this way, but if it's okay with you, you can take it home. Anybody want to ask or say anything else? Like, that's where we're holding, and that's what that's joyous for me, as if everybody is involved and we can...
You were talking about the blessing before the meal.
Mostly I'm talking about the blessing before. Of course, I have plenty to say about Birkat HaMazon. Birkat HaMazon, I have a whole classes on it. I have a CD here with a series of 15 classes all on eating.
Wow,
The Rabbi Nachman, the Baal Shem Tov,
on eating.
the Ari himself, and other sources. I bring everything to bear and what it means to do eating and the larger ramifications of eating, so we can start to be more
You
aware.
have CDs here on food?
Yeah, I have. So, please God, we can skip to the very end, and I hope that you'll even look at it when you get home. Don't think that it's, because really it's rare to see such a thing that I'm showing you here. On page 3 of this set, on the bottom half of the page of page 3, actually it's page 8. It was 6, 7, and 8 from the set that I did. So
There's also a blessing for when
page
you take medication.
Yeah.
what?
There's a
A
blessing.
blessing can be as
For medication,
can
when
be
you take-
a meditation.
No. I'm saying there
A
is a
blessing on
blessing
medication?
on medication.
No, there's usually no
I heard
blessing
that.
on medication. There's only a Yehi Ratzon. May this medication be for my healing. No, but it's good to think it. It's good to think
And
it.
for vitamins also, you can do the same thing.
That
right? Think it.
we tend not to do it, you know. So listen, in order not to overdo it with you, there's only one thing I want to share with you. This is the writing of the Baal Shem Tov on a verse in Psalm 107. He did the commentary on the entire psalm. It's the only psalm we have his commentary on. It's one of the rare pieces of writing we have from the Baal Shem Tov himself. He was not just a guy who was great to tell stories about. He was a profound thinker. So the verse is, after the brackets, it says, Re'evim gam tzeme'im. Re'evim gam tzeme'im. The normal translation would be, they are hungry and also thirsty. But the Baal Shem Tov sees it as a question, why do we get hungry and thirsty? Re'evim gam tzeme'im. Why do we get hungry and thirsty? Really, why do we have to eat? Why do we have to get hungry and thirsty for? Nafsham bahem titata. Because their souls are wrapped up in them, i.e., in the food and drink that we ingest. There are soul sparks of my soul and of your soul in the food that we eat. That's why we get hungry. So this is a very amazing way of looking at food ingestion. Look what he says. This verse tells